your opinion on it, because Andrew here, he finally made the jump, and he's finally starting to watch some DC programming. Good for him.
Twisting my arm.
It's
it's only fair.
It's only the best and highest rated superhero shows on the TV right now. Anyway, that's beyond the point. But let's talk about Legends of Tomorrow on the CW. We're not going to talk about all the episodes. We're just going to talk about the 2-part pilot. That's the first half of the series that's been out so far. I think they're on episode 5 now, coming out this week. I could be wrong. Either it's episode 5 or 6.
They are doing 5 this week.
I think so.
Because I've seen a whole bunch of Hulu promotions, only a couple days left to watch them all. So
I don't know why they do that. I mean, you can watch any of the episodes for free on the CW app right now, so there's no rush. So, but
okay.
Yeah, but
maybe CW takes them down too. Who knows? Or who knows?
But definitely, guys, check out DC's Legends of Tomorrow if you get a chance. Is it perfect? It's definitely not a perfect show. I won't lie. The first episode is a little much,
clunky?
a little clunky to take in, just because they're trying to throw as much against the wall to try to get it to stick, so they can move on to the actual plot.
Okay, so let's get into that. Yeah. So I'm going to be the opposed bro.
Yeah,
okay?
the opposed bro.
The opposed bro, and
I'll be pro bro.
Yeah, you're pro bro, and this is how most of the time DC and Marvel is going to play out. Let's face it, and maybe for days that we really screw up, we'll make someone who loves something have to be the opposed bro. But anyways, I felt like it was extremely clunky, and I don't want to say hard to watch, but I was just not that impressed with the pilot. Now, because for whatever reason my brain is like, I'm behind on everything else. I'll just watch this instead of trying to catch up on the Flash.
Right.
But and I haven't made it through all the seasons of Green Arrow that introduce these characters, because I know these characters have been introduced in these other 2, shows as well. So since that you've watched these, did it make watching this episode a lot easier? Because to me, I was just like, this is laborious in a lot of ways. So that was my take on it, but I didn't know if that was because I was coming in late to the party.
I'm going to give my true, unbiased take on this series, and that is that it's a great series as a whole for all the episodes that have come out so far. Because but these first 2 episodes, they were a chore to watch. I do completely agree with you. There is a lot to take in. We've got the Heat Wave and Captain Cold. We've got the Atom. We've got both Qatar Hall and Shayera, who are Hawkman and Hawkgirl. We've got in this case
White Canary,
Rip Hunter. Which White Canary is not even a real character in the DCU. This is strictly a Green Arrow universe creation. So I mean, it's a lot to take in if you're a new viewer, and not only that, but the plot is throwing stuff at you at a breakneck pace, to where when I say it's laborious to watch, it's not oh wow, this is really slow. It's more, it's okay, what? But now we're here. All right, now we're here now. Okay, wait a minute, I'm confused. It definitely assaults you with story. Now there are some things though that kind of keep the lifeblood of interest going, and I have to say they do a really awesome job of portraying Vandal Savage as this immortal villain through time. The guy that they hired to get him is great, in my opinion. He really has this menacing kind of Cro-Magnon man look to him with his beard and his hair and everything. That was the thing that I did like. Now, I kind of heard you whistle there. Was that a bad whistle or a good whistle?
That was me disagreeing. Yeah, I so what little I know, about this character is, Vandal Savage claims. He's immortal, so he claims to be, Jack the Ripper, and
he said he knew Jack the Ripper.
Okay, well, his actual history, he's claimed to be Jack the Ripper. He's claimed to be Genghis Khan, and he's claimed Adolf Hitler and all that kind of stuff, right? So
I don't know about him claiming to be Adolf Hitler, but he's claimed to be maybe that's where the confusion is, that he is someone that has always been instrumental and pulling the strings of history. For
terrible things like that. Okay, that makes a little more sense.
Now, Genghis Khan, I do agree. He does come out and say, people referred to me as Genghis Khan even once. But there are other times where obviously he did use somebody else like a face, like the Hitler scenario, like you're saying. So I can understand the confusion there for you.
Yeah. So, but anyways, so I'm thinking of this guy who's he's pure evil, but he comes off a little ghoulish in the corner, really skinny, like almost snake like. I don't know. I feel like he's not as
well, here's
not as evil. You know what I mean?
If I can address your concerns, I think that what you're saying is that you don't really see why he's scary or why he's evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's where here's where the TV shows have done to earn that respect. In the Flash and Green Lantern crossover this season, he killed them all, and it was only because the Flash ran backwards in time to go stop them from getting killed. You know, it was that he basically had to. I mean, he took on the entire team, and because the thing about Vandal Savage is that they've kind of established in the show is he has a lot of artifacts and mysticism empowering him. You know, and I mean, he literally had the rod of Horus, I think it is at one point they say in the movie. Right. But I mean, this thing,
he's a bad dude.
Yeah, he's a bad dude because not only is he like an incredible fighter, but he's got all this other kind of stuff going for him too. That it's like magical or artifacts. You know, think of him as like a super powerful, like John Constantine, kind of like it's the way like he doesn't know magic, but he's got all these little trinkets and stuff on him that he's collected over the millennium. And yeah,
I'm sure that character can grow. That was like my smaller gripe. I'm sure he'll grow on me, but I definitely wasn't impressed.
Well, that's the thing.
I felt he's a little not as overwhelmingly like terrifying, I guess. But that's another thing. Obviously, I came in late, so maybe that's something I missed because I didn't watch these other TV shows.
No, I understand your concern, and that's the thing is like the stakes don't seem like they're there, right? But I mean,
yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, at the same time, though, you have to agree. After watching part 1 and 2, people died in the freaking pilots.
Sure. Yeah.
Where he killed them. You know, people that I thought had to stay alive to stop him. You know, so I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone just yet because it's still kind of in the beginning of the series.
Yeah,
but I mean, like the stakes are there. He killed people that were in Flash and Green Arrow, and it was only because of the Flash going back in time, stopping it from happening, that they didn't just lose, you know. So I mean, this guy is definitely super dangerous, and that's the one thing I've really liked about the show. Especially when you see after episode 1 and 2, I think you'll appreciate it more. Is the stakes are there the whole time. Like it seems like a dangerous thing. Like when you watch here's where I can totally justify where you're coming from. Every time that I watch an episode of The Arrow and there's like 4 bad guys with machine guns fighting Green Arrow and like Speedy and Diggle and all these guys together. No one with a gun, no one ever gets shot by a gun bullet. Never, they're all fighting them with their hands, and then you just know it's just like a gratuitous karate fight, just so they can move to the next part of the fight. The fights and stuff that are happening in this, I feel like are much more realistic because, or not realistic, I should say, but there's the stakes because they accidentally change things in time multiple times within the first couple episodes. And they have to go back and fix their mistakes. So I think that's one thing you'll really like if you stick with this. Because the pilots, I do agree, they were very unpolished, but I think it's just because they were in a really tough position of having to give you a lot of information.
They're trying to cram a lot of information
exactly.
at once.
Yeah, I think that's what it suffered from. Yeah, if I had to give it a solid rating, I would give it like a B-. It's definitely got its flaws, but it was just enough to keep me hooked. I think the average viewer, though, like you, might have struggled and be like, I don't know if I want to see this next episode. So definitely give it at least one more episode before you quit on it.
I'm definitely not quitting on it. And, I've watched just a few, and there's definitely, it gets a little, it gets easier. Like it's a little more fluid. I actually... And this is because I'm a Doctor Who fan. I think Rip and that whole vibe is very Doctor Who. And I would, you would think as a nerd, that would make me angry because he's ripping stuff off, maybe. But to me, it just makes it a little more endearing, and it makes sense in my head more because I am such a fan of that type of storytelling. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
Rip Hunter is like a D-level character in the DC universe that just hardcore fans would know about. But I think it's a great take to take the kind of like the Time Lord type aspect of like a Doctor Who has to take. What were you about to say? I apologize.
I was going to say I'm actually really excited because I do know who Rip is because I know who his dad is, and that's one of my favorite DC characters. Yeah. Booster Gold. So I think that's a really cool thing that they could bring in eventually because I love that character. So. That's one of the few DC guys that I'm like, yeah, that guy's awesome. So,
well, if you, I mean, as a DC fan, like the one thing that the CW gets right is, me and you've kind of had this debate before, so I won't beat a dead horse. But while there is the drama of the soap opera-ness, the cheese does come off like a fine wine in some cases because what they do is they really do give fan service 110%. there you get references and Easter eggs galore and things like, oh my god, I can't believe they just showed this, type thing. So I mean, like just to kind of give you an example, on the next episode that they're showing, that's the tease for this coming week. They showed that they have stumbled into this like post-apocalyptic future world, and who do we see jump and land on a car and point an arrow at them? Is that
Green Arrow,
and a Green Arrow outfit? Now they don't show it in the episode, but the guy is not Oliver Queen though. So what's happened to Oliver Queen? And if you look at the kind of advertisements for the next week's episode, we've got an Oliver Queen with the hood, with the green, and what do we have? We have finally the gigantic golden beard and goatee.
About time.
It looks awesome, dude. Like, I mean, it's little things like that. It's like, to me, it's like the one thing that the CW and DC have embraced with their TV shows is they do not shy away from the spandex. Marvel shies away from it. They try to smoke and mirrors. Like, well, it kind of looks like the Daredevil outfit, doesn't it? It looks like it's got to be body armor, right? They do not shy away from the costumes, and that's kind of like the thing about superheroes that I love is that the costume is what makes the character, so much of it. We connect with the colors of it, because we identify with. Like for me, Green Lantern is my favorite character because not only is he awesome, but I mean I love the color green. So it's
think about this too. Like when you're a child, I mean for me, like when I'm a kid, I like if you're not reading well or whatever, and you see a comic book, your eyes are going to gravitate to a specific character that, for whatever reason, looks awesome.
Yep.
And I definitely think that's just something you connect with from a very young age. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I agree. Is it a kind of a little bit of a hiccups there and there? There's definitely some hiccups. I'm not going to be fake on that, but give it a shot.
We're not giving up on it yet.
No. I'm actually thrilled with what I've seen in the last two episodes. For episodes 3 and 4. So definitely, I was happy. I mean, but there again, you have to remember I'm a DC fanboy. So I mean, yes, that is going to skew my viewing of it a little bit more, but I think that's something that is tougher for you since you're such a big Marvel fan and you don't read as much DC. Is that the Easter eggs that you're seeing are probably not as fun for you.
Not as impactful.
Yeah, you're just like, it's just a guy in a green hood. Who gives a shit? It's like, like I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe, it's like I'm freaking out. So, so I understand.